Okay, so I actually want to, in wrapping up, the first thing that I want to do is I want to thank all of the staff who have made this event possible, particularly Gina Lee. So Gina bears anything that has been competently run and organized or thoughtfully designed has been due to Gina, not to Benoit, Neil, or me. I also want to thank the multiple donors who endowed this series and made it possible as a continuing thing for the school. This includes Ayman Hindi and Fatin Sabri, so I want to express appreciation for that as well. So thank you. And I do want to say, so there is a dinner to which everyone is invited. There is good food and excellent wine to be had. So if that interests you, you can follow where people are going, Neil and Benoit, and I will make sure that people get to the right places for this. But since I get to speak a little bit at the end, I want to conclude with a few remarks, in part because I hope this will be a continuing conversation over dinner, not just the end of an event right now. So I think it's interesting that a lot of the time when people think about ethical behavior, they really think about institutions or intentions. Like, I want to be a good person. I want the people in my company to be good people. I want to make the world a better place with my company and stuff like that. And I think it's really neat how a lot of the themes in the conversation there's been themes about intentions, but there's also been themes about institutions. And you see this in a lot of Rebecca's work. You see this in some of the things that Anat was bringing up in the conversation. You see in this in what Adam was talking about in designing architecture. And you see it in things that all three of our guests were bringing up, talking about how do we set things up to live our lives and build our character and set ourselves up to be the better versions of ourselves rather than the worst versions of ourselves. I would actually posit that although we tend to evaluate people based on sort of like their individual intentions and behavior, actually at a business school, the most ethically consequential things and important in the world things that our students will go on and do are things that have to do with the design of institutions. This is societal institutions. This is how they set up and run their organizations and their businesses, because that shapes a lot of people's behavior. That's one thought that I had. The other thought that I had is I found it very interesting that the single greatest challenge that I face in teaching the core Leading with Values class here at the GSB did not come up very much in the conversation here. So the biggest challenge that I face when I teach this class is that there's a shortage of disagreement. It is a situation where people want to get along well with each other. There's often a presumptive position that people have on things, and they tend to adhere to that, and you can't be too far in too many different directions away from that. And they want each other to disagree, but they don't always disagree. And then they also, frankly, they typically come from very elite backgrounds, or by dint of being here, they are automatically part of the elite. And this is part of what Anat was bringing up, actually. So I think one of the challenges in education, if we're teaching ethics in business schools, is broadening that set of conversation and having that space for that disagreement, and having people push back and, say, actually, the way that I think most of us are coming at this, there's some problems here. And I think that's a crucially important thing. So I just want to toss that out. I also don't want to talk for too long so that we can go to dinner. Thank you so much.